Welcome back to the Big Saturday Show. Let's go to the doctor's office. More and more people are suffering with health ailments. They aren't going to a doctor, they're paging Dr. Google. A new poll finding about 40% of people rely on the internet about their health over a doctor's opinion. Where shall we begin this discussion? Dr. Saphier, is this, I can't even believe I'm going to ask you this question. Is that even a good idea?
First of all, sure. I mean, the internet is full of a lot of great information. But as you were privy when I got a Christmas gift a few years ago that says, don't confuse my medical degree with Dr. Google. And there's, again, a reason to this. We're talking about AI. It should be used in conjunction with human brain. And so, yes, you can get some information off of the computer, but I'll tell you, even with Chat GPT, I can never say it right, but and the internet, most people are not black and white, and every individual is different. And I'd love to say that everyone presents with the classic textbook symptoms of each ailment that they come in for, but they don't. And so when you start Googling your symptoms, which you may not know what's important and what's not, you may get something completely different. And while we're used to sending people to go get a second opinion, you know, if you don't like what I say, go to another doctor, get a second opinion, get a third opinion. Now we're finding people are Googling, they've decided what's going on, and they will just continue to find a doctor or a nurse practitioner until they tell them what they feel is design.
Actually,
and then
sorry,
they get what
doctor, I not that I'm an expert, but it says right here that you're wrong.
Oh,
so just disregard everything that you just heard.
Does it drive you bonkers, by the way, when people come in and say, you know, Dr. Saphier, I was Googling and it says probably this, so you think it's that, right?
Well, let me tell you, I will say that a couple of things that really irritate me, and it's not patients, but it is the intrusion of some of the electronics and the government when it comes to the doctor-patient relationship. So there's a federal law that actually recently passed in the last year where patients get their biopsy results immediately, and that's part of the tech. They get the alert even before I get it, and then they get their results, and then they Google their results, and then by the time that I call them, they have already given themselves a death sentence.
Right.
And it's a completely different conversation than if I had given them the information and we discussed it, and so it is problematic.
All right, so another part of this poll we can show you, self-diagnosing on Google, it found that among the people they talked to, they did it 4 times in the past year. So, Guy, let me ask you, have you ever self-diagnosed on Google?
The fastest way to catastrophize and spiral is to Google symptoms, and it always brings you to the worst possible conclusion. So I used to do it a little bit. I was always very skeptical because it's like, all right, it's the internet, huge chunk of salt. And fortunately, I am close friends with a colleague and a doctor whose phone number I have, and I have perhaps texted her more often than I should for some totally free medical advice. So thanks to that totally anonymous person.
Yeah.
So what about you, Jamie? I'm guilty. I do it,
Look,
particularly with injuries that maybe are not. So, you know, like you just got a knee problem or whatever.
This is another problem with COVID. And the measures is that we were all doing, virtual meetings with the doctor and then encouraged, to go to the teledoctor or the phone or the nurse who's with the insurance company, that it involved technology. And sometimes it involved the bot to tell you to go to this link, or this sounds like you need this. And that's what we got trained in a lot of ways to forget about the imperative value of human connection, especially with doctors. Especially with people, there is something important to instinct, to having a person who knows your history, your family history, to understand what's going on, even your emotional history. It's like, okay, Tammy's overreacting to something, but let me look seriously. And that alone calms a person down, of being able to have that professional. So I do think it's
even
it's
if I telemedicine?
I think that it's helpful, especially in rural areas, et cetera. But I think going to the doctor is an important relationship.
So don't Google your medical problems.
No.
We'll give you Dr. Saphier's phone number, and you can just text her, and instead you'll get much better advice.
Watch the Chiron.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.